Have you ever considered that the greatest loss in life could, in fact, be the beginning of the most profound journey of discovery? That when one door closes, it's not another door that opens, but an entire new world right beneath our feet, waiting to be explored? The story I am about to tell is of such a journey belonging to a tiny sparrow named Wren. Wren was born with an intense love for the sky. To her, the sky was not merely a space for flight, but her very reason for being, her essence. Every morning, as the first rays of sunlight filtered through the leaves, Wren would spread her wings, merging with the cool breeze. She adored the sensation of gliding over fluffy white clouds, of freely painting her own flight paths across the endless, deep blue canvas. She belonged to the sky, and the sky belonged to her. Wren's life was a symphony of wind, sun, and the pride of mastering the air. Never, not for a single second, had she imagined any other life. Then, one fateful day, the storm arrived. It wasn't an ordinary summer shower. It was the wrath of heaven and earth. The wind howled like a wounded beast, tearing trees apart. Rain poured down like invisible whips, icy and merciless. Wren, despite her best efforts to find shelter, was swept away by a ferocious gust. She flailed amidst the chaotic air, her tiny wings, once her pride, now weak and helpless. A dry, agonizing crack echoed. Her right wing was broken. The physical pain was nothing compared to the mental shock as she felt herself falling endlessly, losing control, losing the most precious thing in her life. The sky, her soulmate, had now let go of her. Wren plummeted into a dense bush, unconscious and shattered. When she awoke, Wren's world had utterly collapsed. The sky remained high above, serene and blue after the storm, but to Wren, it was as distant as an unreachable dream. She tried to flap her wings, but only one side moved. The other throbbed with pain and hung miserably. She couldn't fly. What was a sparrow that couldn't fly? Despair enveloped Wren's tiny soul. Each day, she lay motionless beneath the tree, gazing up at other birds soaring freely, her heart aching with envy and sorrow. She blamed the storm, blamed fate, and blamed her own weakness. The ground, where she was reluctantly confined, was in her eyes merely a damp prison full of dangers and tedium. Days of lamentation passed, until one morning an old Zen master named Silas, with a benevolent face and deep eyes, walked by. He saw the little sparrow whimpering in despair. He gently sat down, saying nothing, simply observing in silence. Wren, noticing someone paying attention to her, cried even more piteously. "I've lost everything," she sobbed. "The sky has abandoned me. My life has no meaning anymore." The Zen master smiled faintly, a smile not of mockery, but full of empathy. He spoke in a warm, deep voice. "You have not lost the sky. The sky is still there. It is only temporary that you cannot fly up to it. But little bird, if your wings need rest, why don't you try using your feet? If you cannot fly in the sky, why not learn to walk on the ground?" The Zen master's advice hit Wren like a splash of cold water. Walk? She was a creature of the sky. How could she stoop to walking like insects or those sluggish ground creatures? She felt insulted. But then, looking into the master's calm and compassionate eyes, something within her began to shift. She was too tired of complaining. Perhaps ... perhaps she should try just once. And so, Wren's new journey began. Her first steps were awkward and difficult. The ground was rough, not smooth like the air. She had to navigate around pebbles and dry twigs. But gradually, Wren began to discover a world she had never paid attention to before. She noticed the sparkling beauty of a dewdrop still clinging to a blade of grass in the early morning. She listened to the vibrant chorus of crickets at night. She marveled at the perseverance of a tiny ant carrying a piece of leaf many times its own size back to its nest. Wren began a completely different life. Instead of hunting flying insects, She learned to find succulent seeds hidden beneath decaying leaves. Instead of drinking rainwater from puddles high above, she discovered the pure sweetness of a small stream gurgling through the rocks. She befriended a singing cricket and a wise old turtle who always told stories of patience. She learned that beneath this ground there was also a vibrant life, a subtle and profound beauty no less than the vast sky. With each passing day, Wren no longer looked up at the sky with regret. Instead, she bent down, observed, and was grateful for what she had. She was grateful for the small puddle that offered her own reflection. She was grateful for the dry leaf that sheltered her through a rainy night. She was grateful for the delicious seed that filled her belly. Gratitude gradually filled the void of despair. Her soul found peace, a tranquility she had never felt even when soaring high in the vast open air. Time flew by. In that peace and gratitude, Wren's wings gradually healed without her even realizing it. One morning, while preening her feathers, she unconsciously spread her wings. There was no more pain. A familiar sensation of strength spread throughout her body. She could fly again. A surge of joy welled up, but it wasn't the explosive, hurried joy she had once imagined. It was much calmer and deeper. She looked down at the ground, which had been her home all this time, where she had learned invaluable lessons. She looked at her little friends, then slowly, gently, she flapped her wings. Wren flew up. The sky welcomed her back, still blue, still vast as ever. But this time, Wren didn't just see the sky. As she soared higher, she looked down. She saw the forest was no longer a lifeless green expanse, but a vibrant community with countless stories. She saw the stream sparkling like a silver ribbon where she had once drunk cool, fresh water. She saw the tree where the Zen master had sat and the dense bush where she had once despaired. The sky now held a new meaning. It was not just freedom, but also a perspective, a place from which she could admire the beauty of the ground she had once scorned. She realized that the sky and the earth were not separate at all. They were two parts of a perfect whole. Happiness lay not only in soaring high, but also in understanding and appreciating every step taken on the ground. She had not only healed her wings, but also her soul. And so, the story of Wren the sparrow concluded, but its lesson resonates eternally. In our lives, everyone will eventually face their own storms. Perhaps it's losing a beloved job, ending a deep relationship, or having to abandon a burning dream. We feel as though our wings are broken and the sky of hope seems to collapse. At such times, remember the Zen master's advice: if you cannot fly, learn to walk. Stop lamenting what is lost and begin to notice what you have right beneath your feet. Change your perspective. Instead of looking up at the lost sky, bend down to the present ground. You might discover new skills, meet wonderful people, or find simple joys you had previously overlooked. Loss is not an end. It can be an opportunity for us to pause, learn, adapt, and grow more profoundly. And the key to unlocking that door of opportunity is gratitude. Be grateful for every step, every breath, every small thing in life. Because when our hearts are filled with gratitude, inner peace will naturally find its way to us, soothing all wounds. So, if one day you feel your wings are weary, do not despair. Learn to walk on your own ground, and you will find that, sometimes, the journey on the ground is precisely the path that leads you to a sky far vaster and more meaningful.